on in the agenda to open forum public comment. Mrs. Sines, do we have anybody sign up? No, moving along, we have the presentation and public hearing of the proposed 24-25 budget and proposed tax rate. I believe Mrs. Garza.
I'd like to start with our tax rate to begin with. Our last year's tax, sorry. Our last year's tax rate, 23-24, was at 1.0960. Our proposed tax rate for this year will be for 24-25 is 1.1269. It includes an increase for on the M&O side for our disaster pennies of 3 cents. And we also maximized that 0.0069 on the M&O side to give us 1.1269. Our general operating revenue, our local revenue is 7.3 million. Our state revenue is 41 million, and our federal revenue is 5.5 million, for a total revenue of general operating of 53,954,768. Our general operating expenses, this is by object code. For our payroll, 6100s, 42,802,124. That is 71% of our budget. 6200, which is our contracted services, 5,230,484. Our 6300s is our supplies and materials, which is 5,478,442. Our 6400s, other operating, 3,600, keeps moving, 3,682,460. Our debt service payment, 1,345,546, and our 66 capital outlay, 1,573,768, for a total general operating expenses of 60,112,825. Then we have the same operating expenses. We have them by function for the grand total of the 60,112,825. We also have our debt service, our local revenues of 2,509,593. Our state revenue of 1,535,471, for total revenue for our debt service of 4,125,064. Our principal payment of 2,460,000. Interest, 1,662,073. Our general admin fees of 2,500, for a total expense of 3,524,573. We have an estimated fund balance of 600,000, and this is for maintaining that INS rate at 0.34. We will be able to use this reserve to pay down our debt service, our current debt service, and we can use that to bring it down and save on some interest. Our special revenue fund, these are all our federal funds. Our S application, which includes Title I, II, III, and IV, for a total of 4,008,966. A special ed cluster grant, which is 1,027,608. Our sped ed co-op, which is 446,504. The Lowy 21st CCLS is our ACE program, which is 1,860,080. our CTE Perkins grant and what's left of the technology allotment is 199,248. And we no longer have any ESSER, so that has been zeroed out for a total of 8,542,406. Our health insurance fund, we have premium contributions of 5,364,350. These are our expenses that are attributed back to our health insurance for a total of 6,270,996. And we are expecting a decrease in fund balance of 906,646, which is an increase from the previous year. On our prescription, we have about 1.2 million, 1,250,000, which is an increase of over 400,000 from our original budget of last year. So our expenses for our prescription have gone up quite a bit. And then we have our proposed fund balance for 24-25. Our revenues of 53 million, 0.9. Our total expenditures, our total expenditures of 60,112,825. Our excess, our deficiency over expenditures, revenues over expenditures, 6.1 million, 58,057. Our other resources and uses, for a total deficiency of 6,173,057. This will leave us at a fund balance of 7 million, which is about a 45-day operating.
Ma'am, I have a quick question. I'm not an expert of accounting. My brothers are. But I want to go back a little bit because kind of perplexed on the health insurance fund.
Okay.
If we can go back, please. We're at the, I'm looking at the premium contributions. I was looking at my homework, and I just noticed what jumped out really quick was the prescription, the 1.2, the 20% increase. Is Mr. Rodriguez, the consultant here?
No.
Our insurance consultant? Okay, well, that's fine. Ms. Venetia, could we just follow up on our insurance consultant? Maybe it'd be we can share the question and the answer to all the board members? Because the 20% increase in the prescription, I thought we were going to have a decrease.
There are some rebates coming back to us. Those rebates are not accounted for here.
Oh,
So
fair
those
enough.
will bring that balance down. But at this moment, we can't determine how much they'll be because they're based on the actual expenditures
Okay.
for the prescription themselves.
Thank you for answering that question.
Yes, sir.
I have another question too, Ms. Venetia, and the deficits that we have on the health insurance fund, is that actually it's actually increased on our books? Is that added to our fund balance as well? Or?
Yes. At the end of this year, we're also going to be in a deficit, but we have a fund balance currently that will cover that fund balance.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that will cover that overage. But for the coming year, it will not cover that 906,000.
So the books, it won't show up as affecting the general fund?
Not the
correct?
general fund. It
Okay.
is a self-sustaining fund.
Okay, thank
Now,
you.
I know, Mr. Hernandez, you had mentioned on that 1.25 million,
Yes.
the proposed budget. Now, it was $400,000 less this past year, but since we're looking at our prescription fees right now, it has gone up. You know, this year we have maxed it out already past what we had budgeted for
Okay.
last year. So that's why that's
She
going to
included
be
it.
the proposed budget.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Thank you.
That's the end of it.
Were there any other questions from the board? Thank you, Mrs. Garza. All right, the time is now 5:45, and this Public hearing is adjourned. I think we should take a little bit of a recess, let 6 o'clock roll around before we start our special board, our regular board meeting.